This is going to be interesting. He led the UK Independence Party to a victory during Brexit.
Yeah, but then he supported U.S. President-elect Donald Trump in his quest for the White House.
That's right. And after meeting with Mr. Trump just yesterday, President-elect Trump, how does Nigel Farage compare their victories? And what does he think of current U.S.-UK relations going forward? The leader of the UKIP party joins us now. Thanks for being here, Nigel Farage. You have been all over the news. I asked you this before. What's it like to be on cloud nine forever? I mean, with Brexit and this, what's it been like for you?
I mean, 2016, it's the year of political revolution. I mean, I've been dreaming of this for a couple of decades because I've always known that whatever our political class and their friends in the media and the big businesses, whatever they do and say and want, is not the same as what ordinary, hard-working taxpayers want. And what you've seen this year is just ordinary, decent people, the little people who've said, we've had enough, we want change.
Now, you predicted Brexit, and you told Parliament it was going to happen. They laughed at you. You predicted that Donald Trump would win. They laughed at you. What did you see that other people didn't see?
It's all to do with opinion polls. They're wrong. Why are they wrong? Because they don't measure the non-voter. You know, the man or woman who've never voted in their life who decide, you know what, I'm going to go out and vote for Trump. They can't measure these people. And if they ring them up and say, look, would you, join our list, they're probably going to get, verbal down the phone before it's slammed down. Secondly, because of the way society's evolved, because of the domination of the liberal left media, people are now nervous about expressing conservative views. So they'll say one thing to a pollster and do another thing when it comes to the polling booth. That was one big reason. The other reason was, what Trump was offering, just like Brexit, was a kind of once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to change a system that has not been benefiting ordinary people.
That's so right. The invisible voter, people really underestimated that. You met with Mr. Trump yesterday at Trump Tower, post-winning this election. What was that conversation like?
He was thoughtful, reflective. I mean, just think Hillary too. Just think what they've been through. I mean, this has been the most astonishing, vicious election campaign. I mean, that second debate in St. Louis, it was almost hard to watch. I mean, it was really, really down there, wasn't it? Hard and vicious. But I think I tell you what, for a man of 70, he's unbelievable. I mean, those last few days of the campaign, he was doing 6 rallies. Now, I know from Brexit, what it's like to be out there. So, I mean, his stamina is extraordinary. And believe me, he's not been idling for the last couple of days. He was talking about various ideas that he's got, and he is desperate to help ordinary Americans.
Do you think he's surprised that it went his way?
When you're leading something like that, you're so full on that at the moment the polls close, you sort of think to yourself, what's going to happen? Your confidence almost goes. It happened to me on the Brexit. Look, I just think he's thrilled, and when you look at the number of electoral college votes he got, actually, it was a landslide.
And some people in America, however, are not thrilled. We're seeing protests.
Yes.
Did you see that after Brexit, and what do you make of these protests to an election result?
We've seen protests led by people like Bob Geldof and various rock stars who I haven't got much time for. And yeah, they've been out protesting. Now, I think, looking at the people outside Trump Tower yesterday, I think they're the same people.
Same people. Professional protesters.
That were at the Brexit protest.
I think they were flown over.
Let's talk about Brexit. There's a lot of concern, international markets. We've been hearing trouble in China, them buying back their own stock. Then everyone's pointing to the European Union and Britain's exit in Brexit. It's going to cause international turmoil. How do you decouple the UK from the European Union cleanly where it doesn't rattle the world?
I've just never heard so much rubbish in all my life. We're looking through the wrong end of the telescope. The idea that the European Union is good for economics is nonsense. It's the most over-regulated part of the world. It's got the highest unemployment rates, the lowest growth rates, the maddest energy policy. And look, nowhere in history have you had to be in a political union to buy and sell motor cars from each other. The whole thing is based on a false premise, and these arguments that we get, and we're getting them from Goldman Sachs, and we're getting them from JP Morgan. And why? Because the European Union allows mega businesses to effectively write their own rules for the industry, which puts out of business small and medium-sized competitors and gives the customer worse value for money. And by the way, I've helped to get Britain out of the European Union. I now want to get Europe out of the European Union, then I mean it. We don't need that flag anthem and all those old men telling us what to do.
You said that 17 years ago that the UK was going to leave, and it happened. Who knows? That could be the future as well. What would you say the future is of U.S.-UK relations? Such a critical alliance.
Yeah,
what's possible going forward?
Absolutely. And, you know, when you think just 2 days ago was Veterans Day, and you think of the triumphs and tragedies that we have shared as a nation in the course of the last 100 years, to give liberty and freedom, you know, to much of Europe and much of the world. It's very regrettable that Obama took an incredibly negative view about the United Kingdom. He was happy to see us sort of parceled up and chucked into this new European state. Believe me, Donald Trump and the team around him, they get what we've done together in the past, and they want us to have a good relationship in the future. Obama came to Britain in the referendum and told us that we'd be at the back of the line. Actually, I mean, I want to thank President Obama because he made the people so angry, he probably added 2% to our vote, you know. But no, I mean, what Team Trump have made clear is that we'd be at the front of the line, that we need to have. I mean, you've got massive investments in the UK, we've got massive investments here. So in terms of trade, I'm optimistic.
And NATO too, right?
Well, you see, the thing about NATO is that Trump has been heavily criticised for calling into question the financial contributions that some people are making. And the truth is, America is still picking up too much of the bill. He's right about that. The other thing about NATO is, you know, we know what it was formed for nearly 70 years ago.
Right.
It was there, you know, against the Warsaw Pact. Ever since the Berlin Wall came down, we haven't redefined what NATO's for.
You guys went through a divisive time recently, obviously with Brexit.
Yeah.
And I traveled to Scotland just after all of that, and it seemed like there was harmony. It didn't seem like there was all this dissent. What advice do you have for America right now? I mean, Scotland, because by the way, Scotland didn't vote for it. So, you know, here you have...
Do you know, I'll tell you the truth. There's a very large percentage of people who voted for remaining in the European Union who say, do you know what? We're Democrats. We lost that. Let's accept it. Let's get on with it. The only people moaning are the full-time professional student protesters, rather like the lot we saw here. Right. By the way, none of them voted because they can't get out of bed, and yet they're happy to go and protest. You know, I mean,
it's true.
Of course it's true.
Yeah.
And generally, people in the UK are accepting the result. There are some who'll go on protesting. There are some who'll go on moaning. But I have absolutely no doubt we are getting back our independence.
And what did you say? You were laughed at for a long time when Brexit went. What did you say in your speech?
I went to the European Parliament for the first speech after Brexit, and I got up to speak, and about 400 of them started booing and jeering, as they do. I'm like the sort of pantomime villain, you know. And I said, when I came here 17 years ago, I said to you I was going to take Britain out of the European Union. Well, I said, you laughed at me, but you're not laughing now.
You're not laughing now.
That's a great
You know what? The left here in America not laughing now either. We love having you here, Nigel.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
With us.
Pleasure. Man of history, no doubt.